Back to Bahrain.
One number, one time, one moment that changed everything.
A real positive sign for those in red. Charles Leclerc topped the morning session.
1 minute, 33 seconds, 739 thousandths. That's all it took. Not a race win, not a championship point. Just a lap in the Bahrain desert in a test that officially meant nothing. But here's the question nobody in the paddock can stop asking.
It's an exciting time with this new generation of car as well, because it's all brand new. We're all trying to figure it out.
What if Ferrari didn't just find a fast car in Bahrain? What if they found something far more dangerous?
A bit of my DNA is within it, so I'm more connected to this one for sure.
A car that nobody else yet understands how to beat. And what if the man unlocking it wasn't the driver Ferrari built everything around? Ferrari arrived at the second week of Bahrain testing with more questions than answers. The SF26 was aggressive, radical, built on a philosophy so extreme that even the engineers weren't sure where the ceiling ended and the cliff began. The first week had shown promise. Charles Leclerc posted a 134.273, and the car completed over 140 laps of solid mileage. Reliable, consistent, encouraging. But behind those clean numbers lived a darker truth. The SF26's radical V-shaped rear diffuser, one of the most aggressive aerodynamic concepts on the 2026 grid, was generating sudden, unpredictable losses of downforce at high speed. In windy conditions, the car became a different animal entirely. The ceiling was high, but the floor was unstable. That's the kind of technical contradiction that ends championship campaigns before they begin. So when Ferrari rolled out for day one of week 2, the mission wasn't glory, it was survival. Could they trust this car? Could they control it? Or had they built something too extreme to ever truly master? But that was just the start. Because what happened next didn't just answer those questions, it rewrote them entirely. Charles Leclerc went out, and he was fast. 1 minute, 33 seconds, 739 thousandths, on a prototype C3 compound, putting Ferrari at the top of the timing sheets with what looked like effortless authority. But Leclerc himself was publicly cautious. He insisted the new 2026 rules made it nearly impossible to extract real hierarchy from pre-season times. Different fuel loads, different engine maps, different agendas. That caution wasn't PR spin, it was strategy. Because Ferrari knew the real test wasn't the fast lap, it was what came after. The long runs, the thermal management, the degradation curves when the rubber starts crying and the fuel load drops and the car has to survive on precision instead of raw pace. And this is where the story gets complicated. Because when Lewis Hamilton began his long-run simulations, something unexpected happened. Something that surprised not just the paddock, but Ferrari's own engineers. Hamilton didn't come to Bahrain to adapt slowly. He came to question everything. Within days, his telemetry began revealing a pattern that nobody had projected. In slow corners, Hamilton's minimum speed was systematically higher than Ferrari's own internal references. His hybrid deployment was more optimized than the engineer's model suggested was possible at that stage. And his degradation curve, the rate at which the tires gave up their performance, was flatter, more sustained, more dangerous for anyone trying to race him. The FIA released aggregate performance metrics confirming the car was completely legal, but those same numbers publicly exposed something Ferrari had only just begun to understand privately. The SF26 had a higher performance ceiling than the team itself believed, and Hamilton had found it first. He wasn't just reporting problems to the engineers, he was decomposing them. He described precisely how the car's behavior shifted when the differential operated in transition phases, how the hybrid delivery affected mid-corner rotation, how the downforce balance seemed to migrate when the fuel tank fell below a certain threshold. That is not driver feedback, that is technical leadership. And when that kind of leadership appears this early, it doesn't just accelerate development, it realigns it. Ferrari left Bahrain's second test week with 3 conclusions, and only one of them was comfortable. First, the SF26 is a genuine championship contender. The high ceiling is real, The long-run pace is not a fuel load illusion. The car can fight. Second, the operating window is narrow, brutally narrow. This machine demands surgical precision in rake height, tire temperature, hybrid management, and aerodynamic balance simultaneously. Deviate even slightly, and the car punishes you. Third, and this is the one that will echo through the entire season, the internal hierarchy has shifted. Leclerc was not defeated on track. He was not slower in qualifying trim. He remains one of the most naturally gifted drivers on the grid, and his one-lap performance in Bahrain confirmed it. But Hamilton's long-run data introduced a new reference point, a new standard. And when that standard is validated not by opinion, but by official FIA metrics published before the race, it stops being an internal conversation. It becomes a global narrative. Development direction follows performance data. Setup priorities follow the driver extracting the most sustained pace. And in a team chasing a constructor's title, those invisible gravitational pulls can become the most decisive force of the entire year. This wasn't just a test, it was a warning.
Scenario 1. Ferrari master the window. Leclerc dominates Saturdays. Hamilton controls Sundays. The combination becomes unstoppable, and the SF26 becomes the car that defined the 2026 era. Scenario 2. The internal tension compounds. Development resources tilt toward Hamilton's feedback. Leclerc, the man who carried Ferrari through the lean years, finds himself racing a car shaped for someone else's hands. The garage becomes the battleground. Scenario 3. The window stays narrow, the refinements never quite land, and McLaren, Red Bull, and Mercedes, who watched Bahrain very carefully, find the weakness Ferrari couldn't see from the inside. Because in Formula One, the most dangerous car isn't always the fastest one. Sometimes it's the one that looks unbeatable, right until it isn't. As Ferrari built the car to end their championship drought, or the most sophisticated trap they've ever constructed for themselves? Can one team manage two technical leaders without one eventually overshadowing the other? And when the lights go out in Melbourne, will the SF26 be the weapon Ferrari believes it is? One thing is certain, the season hasn't started, but the battle inside that garage already has.